Hey everyone, it's Johnny, your independent Scentsy consultant. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the bakery category of our Fall/Winter 2022 Scentsy Catalog. So, just a couple notes. If you didn't watch the spice video, I will be going over and touching base over some new releases, as well as returning ones from our previous catalog, but I won't be spending as much time on those. We'll be mostly smelling the returning and sort of new like fall/winter fragrances, rather than rehashing the ones that we already kind of know. So without further ado, let's dive right in. We are starting the bakery category with Apple Cherry Strudel. This is Granny Smith apple, cherry, and vanilla drizzle. Insist on dessert first. Okay, so yes, does it smell like an apple cherry strudel? 100%. You get the apple, you get the sweet cherry. It's such a great scent, but for me, it futzes out. Like, every time I have warmed it, it's such a beautiful fragrance, but then it futzes out. So, I love it. It just has never performed well for me. Like, it doesn't have the longevity that I'd expect from a bakery scent, which tend to, in general, last all day, be somewhat cloying, not really lose their steam throughout the day. And this one, just for me, it just is not an abysmal performer, but it just is very underwhelming, and I feel like if I'm gonna go and try to do an apple cherry thing, I'd rather honestly pick an apple and a cherry scent or something else and kind of just make my own hybrid scent, because this is beautiful, but man, its performance leaves a lot to be desired. All right, next we have Baked Apple Pie. I believe that's a returning one. I really wish it would just get out of our catalog because it's, let me describe it to you. So it's flaky crust, apples, and spices combined in a strong scent. Is it a strong scent? Yes. Is there flaky crust? Yes. Is there spices? Yes. Is there apple in it? Questionable at best. So I get like the pie crust and I get the spice for the apple pie, but I don't really get the apples. And that's my biggest guffaw with that one. It's like, if you're going to have a scent that's apple pie, make sure there's apple in it. Like, make sure there's enough apple that we can smell the apple. So it's not just pie crust. You know, that to me is like, okay, well, why don't you just call the scent pie crust, you know? It is a bestseller. I know a lot of people love it. I think it's a very safe scent. I don't think it's very unique, and I don't think if you're really looking for something different or something a little bit more interesting or complex, that is a scent worth going for. It is literally like one of those safe scents that you're like, oh, I want to do something bakery, but I'm not really sure, and I have people coming over and I don't know how they're going to react. It's a safe scent. But again, I don't really get a lot of apple out of it. And for a scent that's called apple pie, or baked apple pie in this case, I expect to smell a good amount of apple. So, I've warmed it a few times over the couple years that I've been a consultant, and I've had the same results. So, I think there are better options, especially if you're looking for like an apple or apple pie-esque sort of scent. You can be a little bit more creative with it. All right, next is Blueberry Cheesecake. This is also one that's just coming back from the catalog. We're not going to go over this. This is thick, rich New York cheesecake with a light graham cracker crust and delicious blueberries. It is a scent that gives you a lot of pungency. You do get the tart blueberries. You do get like the kind of cheesecake vibe to it. But for me, it's a trade-off between sometimes it smells like cheesecake and sometimes it smells like damp dog or like moldy oatmeal or something. You know, it's like that weird sort of like sour tone to it that sometimes comes through, and it can be a little overwhelming. So it is a powerhouse scent. It does last a long time, but especially when the blueberry component of it starts to mellow a bit, it does start taking on a weird, awkward sort of scent profile that I personally am not fond of. So again, it is a blueberry cheesecake scent, but I almost wish they would reformulate it or come up with a new cheesecake scent or something to switch out. So there is that. Next is Cinnamon Buttercream. I'm glad that this one is returning. This is Italian buttercream and creamy mascarpone scooped over cinnamon cake, combining sugar, spice, and everything nice. And that's really what it is. It is almost like you have a very light cinnamon fluffy cake, maybe even a coffee cake, dare I say. It's not quite that level. But then you get this beautiful, like, as they describe it, Italian buttercream and mascarpone. Like, you really do smell that. And it's not the obnoxiously nauseating, like, vanilla bean buttercream where it's just, like, butter for days with vanilla. This is actually rather well balanced. And I'm not a huge bakery person, but this is a scent that I don't mind having. Like, it's balanced enough. And again, I'm not a big cinnamon person either. So you're probably like, wait, didn't you just tell me before you're like not a cinnamon person? In this scent, it works for me. And that's what I gotta say. Like, even if you have scents or types of scents that just you're like, whether it's like cinnamon or peach or whatever yours might be, try a scent, because you never know, there might be that 1 or 2 scents where the blend just works for you, and then all of a sudden it's opened up your palette in ways that you might not otherwise think of. And it may not mean that you then all like cinnamon other things, because I generally, not to bash on it, but I have a distaste for cinnamon scents, but it means that I can enjoy it now and then and not be like upset with it. So that's cinnamon buttercream. Okay, next we have Clementine Cupcake. That is returning. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It's just continuing over, I think. That's a warm vanilla cupcake with sweet clementine and sprinkled with lemon sugar. So again, it's kind of like Cutie Pie Cupcake, which is a lemon. I think it's a lemon cupcake, even though it says it's like, I don't know, orangey citrus cupcake. This one is more of that clementine, that orange cupcake sort of scent. It works. It's a nice scent. It performs well. I'm not a huge fan of it personally, but I don't mind it. I just wouldn't go out of my way because I'm not like a bakery person. All right. Next we have Cranapple Crumble. This is a new release. Check out the video on that. But this is baked cranapple topped with brown sugar and a dollop of whipped cream, and this smells divine. You get the cranapple. Oh boy, do you get the cranapple. Like, it's not hiding. You do get a brown sugary note, which I really appreciate, because that's a little bit more molasses driven as opposed to just straight up cloying sugar. And then you get that sort of creamy, like light whipped concept of that whipped cream. Like, it's not a heavy creamy, like just vanilla cream or something, but it gives it a little bit more of a rounded, not richness, but creaminess that kind of just really works in this scent. I adore this, and I'm not a bakery person. I think this is more, personally, I think it's more fruity than bakery, but I would suggest trying this one. I'm very excited to warm this one. Next, we have Graham Cracker Crunch. This is coming back from before. This is a great scent. Caramelized graham cracker layered with crunchy peanut butter and creamy vanilla bean. And at first I remember being like, peanut butter, really? And you do get that, but I don't mind it. Like, it works here. Like, I'm not like, I don't want my house smelling like peanut butter all day long. But you do get a nice blend between the graham cracker and the peanut butter that works really nicely. And the vanilla bean is mostly there to, again, cut through the sort of like, how do I describe it? Golden sort of, I don't know, like that nut butter sort of quality that just kind of is like, meh, and it's kind of like heavy smelling. It kind of lightens it a little bit, rather than being like a straight up vanilla scent. So while this is not something that I would go out of my way to go and pick up all the time, this, from time to time, I don't mind warming if I have a bar. But if you don't like peanut butter, don't even waste your time. All right, next we have Hug in a Mug. This is Curl Up with chocolate, hazelnut, and cookie dough. And that's what it is. You get the chocolate. It's like almost a little bit of like a cocoa powdery chocolate. You get the hazelnut, which kind of gives it a little bit more of that nutty, like Nutella kind of vibe. And then you get the cookie dough. Oh, it smells good. It's almost like just like getting like chocolate chip cookie dough a little bit like that. It also kind of reminds me a little bit of TCBY's white chocolate mousse frozen yogurt. Or like the smell of like a TCBY, like when you're near like the different, what are they called? Oh my gosh, counters. Where all like the like dry little like toppings are. Kind of gives me a little bit of that vibe. This is a little bit of a chocolatey cocoa-y scent. It is not a hot cocoa scent, but this one, I don't think we actually have almond croissant in our catalog anymore. I don't think we do. But this one, if you still have almond croissant, that one mixed with this makes like this chocolate croissant and it is so delightful. Oh, this is so good. This is a scent, again, though, that I wouldn't warm on my own by itself personally. I like this blended with something so that either it enhances something else or something else enhances it. But I'm glad to see it's back. All right, next we have Pumpkin Roll. Pumpkin Roll. I like this one. This is creamy pumpkin pie filling surrounded with yellow cake, pecans, butter, and spice. There is a little bit of spice in this. It's not overwhelming. You do get the yellow cake note and the pumpkin note. The pumpkin pie filling note, whatever you want to call it. I don't get a ton of pecans and butter. It's probably in there. But I think the yellow cake and the pumpkin pie filling sort of thing are really what you're picking up here. With an undertone of spice. That's kind of what it is. It's not particularly buttery, even though there has a note in there for butter. Same with the pecans. You kind of pick up a nuttiness, but it's not the predominant note. It's kind of like pumpkin pie meets yellow cake. And it works. I like it. I don't love it. But it works out. And I think it's more that I'm just realizing that I'm just not a huge pumpkin fanatic in terms of like pumpkin by itself. All right, next we have Salted Caramel Toffee. This is the sweet scent of salted caramel takes melted toffee and butterscotch to new levels of indulgence. I actually have to say, I really like the scent. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I remember when I first got it, I was like, "Oof, this is gonna be terrible and cloying," because a lot of toffee scents just don't smell like toffee. Like, I love toffee brittle, like where you go get like fresh made, and it's like, oh my god, especially with dark chocolate and like the little, nuts on it. Oh my gosh, sign me up. But this kind of reminds me of the caramel toffee that I really enjoy eating. And ooh, you know what I want to do? Not with the testers, but I actually kind of want to see if I can worm Hug in a Mug and salted caramel toffee together and see if I get like those, like toffee, it's like chocolate covered toffees. Ooh, that sounds like such a good idea. Anyways, this scent is really good. You do get the butter note, you do get the toffee note, and you do get the caramel, but it's balanced so that it really does smell like that toffee kind of note, as opposed to just, oh, it's a lot of caramel, or oh, it's a lot of butter. Like, you really do get a nice balance, and I was pleasantly surprised with this. It is in my Scentsy Club. It's one of the small portion of bakery ones that have somehow managed to last in my Scentsy Club. It's really good. Oh, it's good without being like overwhelmingly cloy, so maybe that's probably why. Next, we have Scary Good, also known as Scary Stay Away From Me. Pumpkin puree sprinkled with fresh cinnamon encounters toasted butterscotch and creamy vanilla in a spooky, yummy treat. Where do I begin with this? I remember getting this scent and I was like, oh, it's not bad. And then I wormed it more and I was like, oh god, it's bad. The fresh cinnamon kills it for me. The pumpkin puree probably doesn't help because I'm not a huge pumpkin person and it's very pumpkin-y. You don't get a whole ton of the butterscotch. It's there, but it's not like the forerunner. I think the cinnamon and the pumpkin puree kind of go into overdrive, followed by the butterscotch. And then creamy vanilla. I guess you get a little bit of vanilla from this. If I were to smell this, though, I wouldn't go and say, oh, I can smell the vanilla in it. It's very creamy. I would be like, no. Like, the first thing that you smell is that cinnamon. It's almost like a red hot cinnamon more than it is a bakery cinnamon, which kind of annoys me. And then you get a lot of pumpkin puree. Like, holy moly, if you don't like pumpkins, don't pick this scent. Yeah, I think this is more of a spice scent than it is a bakery scent, personally. I'm not fond of it. I will probably not ever buy another bar of this again because, like, I remember giving away some bars of it at one point. I was just like, no, I'm good. Here, happy fall. But it is a scent. I'll say that much. All right. Returning, we have Sugar Cookie. I think a lot of people were upset when this one disappeared from our, I think, last catalog. But it came back due to popular demand. This is a great scent. And it does smell like a sugar cookie. It says warm, sweet blend of butter, sugar, and creamy vanilla. You do get that. I think the bigger thing is this is a beautiful mixer scent. So if you have a scent that's too heavy or too tart or too bitter or too whatever, this is a fantastic way to kind of mellow it out. And it's neutral enough that if you just warm this, you have this wonderful sort of cozy scent in your house that's not distinctly any particular season, but just, it makes your house smell nice. So if you're looking for a neutral bakery scent, this is a really good one. It's great on its own, and it's great for mixing or making other things better or less intense. Then we have Vanilla Bean Buttercream. That's returning. I don't have the tester in front of me, but decadent buttercream frosting made with the freshest butter whipped with cane sugar and vanilla extract. It is a butter cream. It is not vanilla cream. It's not vanilla frosting. It's not just vanilla bean. It's like butter cream, heavy on the butter, almost a little too cloying buttery, with essences of sweetness and vanilla. So it's very butter heavy buttercream, whereas like cinnamon buttercream is less butter heavy. So just keep that in mind. Even though they both have buttercream in the name, they're very different in their delivery of their varying degrees of rich cloyness, if you will. And then finally, last but not least, is Vanilla Cinnamon Maple. This came back. This is one of our, I think, like winter holiday bar or whatever ones. Cinnamon stick warms buttery maple atop a mountain of whipped sweet cream. This is a great scent. I don't mind warming this one. And that's saying a lot because I'm not usually like a maple person or a cinnamon person. This is a well-balanced, this is a scent that almost every company does their version of vanilla cinnamon maple. Like, without fail, you'll see that in almost every company that sells wax. So in terms of uniqueness, is it there? Absolutely not. This is very like generic in that composition. However, I will say, in their defense, for being a generic scent that might be forgettable, Scentsy does it really well. Like, it is a well-balanced. So it's not too cinnamony, it's not too mapley, it's not too vanilla. They actually managed to balance the scent well. So I will give them credit there where credit is due, even if it's maybe not the most unique combination out there. It works, and it works well. Now, again, I'm not a huge maple or cinnamon person, so I can warm this in doses and be okay, even though I don't mind the scent. But I wouldn't go out of my way to be like, oh my gosh, I need this every day, all the time. So there is cinnamon maple buttercream. Or no, cinnamon, oh my god, vanilla cinnamon maple. I'm going to make up my own scent today. And that is the bakery category. So we have a good collection there. I think out of them, the notable ones that I could personally recommend, I really enjoy cinnamon buttercream, surprisingly. I'm very interested to try Cranapple Crumble. I think that will become one of my new favorites. Hug in a Mug is great as a mixer. It gives that like chocolatey sweetness, but I think it works well with other pastry scents or blending to get that sort of note in there rather than just standalone. And then Sugar Cookie's a great neutral if you just want something not super heavy, not super light, but just there and cozy and bakery sort of scented. And then Salted Caramel Toffee was a really nice surprise for me when I warmed it. It really does bring out the toffee notes that I was looking for. And I think if you're like a toffee lover, not a necessarily butter or butterscotch or caramel lover, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with trying that one. So, that being said, that's our bakery category. Let me know in the comments below if you have any favorites in here that are returning, or if there are ones that you're sad that didn't return. If you're new here, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in our next video. Take care, guys. Bye.